What's going on, everyone? I'm Encore. This is Tomorrow Never Comes, and I know what you're thinking. Why are you wearing that shirt? I know, that's the first thing. Well, my daughter gave me two things. One is this shirt she made for me. She's 5.5. She made this in school. Two is she gave me this cold. So bear with me here. But let's get back to the subject matter at hand, is how in the world can Warren Buffett be wrong about investing rules? I want to cover this. Why I think he's not entirely right. So he's got a very famous quote, Warren Buffett, which is rule number one is you never lose money. And rule number two is you never forget rule number one. You will hear anyone who's invested in anything for any length of time quote this Warren Buffett quote 100% over and over and over again. And it is right, but you need to be wrong in order to understand it first. Okay, and what do I mean by that exactly? Well, I'm going to take you over to something over here on Twitter. Is that this individual here on Twitter wrote, diamond handing is highly overrated, meaning holding on to something for a long period of time. He has a confession here. He says, I held an NFT position from 20K and it went all the way up to 500K. And then he saw it come all the way back down to 100K in February. And then he's like, I finally sold at that point, but I could have bought a house for 500K. And he's like, lesson learned, take profits early and often, and sell shaming is just disguised jealousy. So I'm gonna leave sell shaming alone. That's really, that's a whole different ball game there. But I went on to say that, hey, unfortunately, most of us learn this principle the hard way. And this individual had a very amazing response, and that the money lost is just tuition. So again, he had an NFT that was worth 20K. It went to 500K. Instead of selling somewhere along those lines, he saw it come back to 100K, and then he's like, you know what, I gotta sell here at some point, and he sold in and around that area. So while he made 5x his money, it wasn't 500K of where he saw it. And so the lesson he took was take profits early and often. And I can't tell you how true that is. If you're new to investing, it doesn't sink in. And I've gone through this similar process. Some of my portfolio, even in the stock market and in crypto market, I was up good, 300-400K. And now it's minus six figures. Probably minus the actual opposite of that, because you just hold on to things. Now, a lot of the things are long-term holds, so I'm not worried about that. It's not a big deal. Well, I can't say it's not a big deal, but it doesn't hurt as much, because the problem with selling and trying to get back in is that's a whole different mentality, which then carries forward into everything you do. And so while it may work in some areas or some instances, over the long haul, usually you lose out by trying to get in and out of the game. Right? So there's certain long positions, they go down, I buy more, that's fine. But when you're new, as I was 2.5 years ago, almost 3 years, is that you just think things will continue to go up. So why do I think Warren Buffett is wrong? I think his rules are 100% correct, but I think you cannot understand or fully grasp why they're right until you feel that pain. And I mean, there's a certain project that I'm gonna make a video on that the price of their token was around 700, and then it would fluctuate 500, and then I got in probably when it was around 200, maybe 100, and went heavy, no patience. And what is it now? I think 50 cents a token. So it's there, management change. Who knows what's gonna happen? Could be done, could be gone to zero. I don't know. But that lesson, that tuition that I paid for that learning is going to carry me forward forever. And, one thing I would caution everyone is to try and pay as little as tuition as possible. But I still think there is no way you can comprehend Warren Buffett's rules of never lose money as rule number one. And rule number two is don't ever forget rule number one. You can't grasp that unless you've actually lost money. So I think it's a great rule, but something you can only get once you've gone through what he's saying don't do. So I hope if you guys have gone through this yourself, I would love to hear how you've kind of gone through it, or maybe you haven't. Maybe you've decided, maybe you took those rules to heart and kind of went about it. But for the most part, we all learn the hard way. And look, if you found value in this video, hit the like button, subscribe to the channel. And I think one of the things I would love to cover more going forward is really investment psychology, the mindset we have. It's really not all that difficult. Like the techniques, the principles are simple, but they're not easy because our psychology and our emotions get involved. So we'll tackle some of that going forward. But remember, it's okay if you lose some money. It's tuition, consider it tuition, but take that as a lesson, learn those points, those principles, and apply it going forward. Don't make the same mistake over and over. So guys, hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you in the next one.